Hey Teba, so today I want to talk about our metaphysical skills and abilities, psychic abilities, spiritual abilities, energetic abilities. Over the many years that I have practiced in that world, in that sector of life, I've grown to understand myself and those abilities and skills a little bit better. And they do change over time. They become updated, you grow, they grow, you have a deepening of those skills and abilities as well. It's important to let them update. It's important to let you update, to grow, to heal, to become more, and your ability to access them and stream them more fluidly will also happen. As I've grown in my own gifts, I've come to understand what I am and what I'm not, what I'm called to do and what I'm not called to do. Because I read energy, it's very easy for me to read someone, to read their hopes and dreams and their spirit, their past, present, future. That also means I'm reading what's around them, the people that are connected to them. And sometimes during a reading, somebody's loved one who's passed over will come through, or somebody that they know. Or sometimes people will ask about a loved one that has passed over. In most cases, if we're already doing a reading and someone comes through or someone has a question about someone who's passed, it's pretty easy to then respond, bring through the message that is wanting to come through. It's almost as though it was already predetermined or predestined that we were going to have that interaction during the reading. I very rarely said yes, maybe just once or twice, maybe just once, when someone contacts me directly for mediumship, directly to speak to someone who's passed over. I would say that I always known I am not a medium. And in fact, when messages do come through from loved ones, it's as though I'm not directly channeling that person. Very rarely does that happen. Mostly it's that I'm in a safe space and my guides are communicating with that spirit, or I can hear the conversation. So it's safe for everybody involved, and it's just how I channel. Very quickly, I learned the most important thing about someone who's passed over, that soul or that spirit. The most important thing is that they find peace. They find not just peace, but they continue moving forward in their journey. Just as much as we value the loved one that's still here, finding peace and finding wholeness in their grief, it's just as important, if not more important, for the spirit, for the soul to be able to move forward. I'm not sure if it's because I'm an energy reader or because I can see that soul's journey. I just know that it's so important that they keep moving forward. That's the most important thing. And most of all, you don't want them to be tied here. You want them to keep moving forward. The most loving thing that anybody can do for someone that has passed is to release them, is to say, I love you so much. I'm so happy that I interacted with you here. And I know that we are together forever anyway. Go on. Go have the rest of your soul's journey. I'm so happy for you, and I'll see you again soon. That is such an act of love because that person is probably feeling a lot of grief. And for them to get to a place to say, I'm letting you go. You're all good. I'm good. I'm going to go through my feelings. I'm going to go through my stuff. But you go. You go on your soul's path. There's just something in me where I know that you never hold someone's soul back. And that means you don't ask them to remember things that happened here. You don't tie them to the memory of who they were. To me, whatever type of psychic or metaphysical work that I do, I know that I'm part of a stream that says to find peace and to find freedom for souls that have passed. That it's so important that they keep going. They have to keep going. So my word always has to be that. Keep going, find peace. You've got this, let go. You are a spirit. I've watched mediums work and do their beautiful gift and give so much peace or the availability for peace to people who have lost a loved one. And sometimes through that peace, that loved one can then also let go of that person, of that soul. Then the peace is resounding. I know that that work is also so valuable. In readings that I've done where someone has come forward or someone has asked about a soul that has passed over, there is the availability of those details. There is that availability of that communion and that communication. But this only happens in specific cases for me because of my own gifts and because of the stream that I'm part of. That soul or spirit has to have found peace and has to have moved through many gateways, you could say, after their physical passing. They have to have gotten to a certain place where they're at peace. Their soul is in an okay spot. And so it's no big deal for them to communicate back here. Those are the only cases where really I want to be speaking at all on behalf of someone else or in communion with someone who's passed over. That they found peace, that they've moved through the multiple gateways that's necessary for their soul. Sometimes I use the word soul and the word spirit interchangeably. I want to say that soul is, to me, more specific. Spirit identifies more individually into a soul. When I say a soul's path, it's more specific than when I'm generally speaking of spirit, even though sometimes I use them interchangeably. The thing is that we are all of those things simultaneously all of the time. We are spirit, we are soul, we are physical, we are energy. It's all happening at once anyway. Sometimes we're just more focused into one area than another when we're speaking, or even when we're being. When our consciousness is focused, sometimes it's focused more energetically, more physically, more spiritually. Let me tell you about my father, because he's passed and I've had many years to process his passing. I know that the first feeling that I felt when he passed was relief. I was so happy for him. Like many other humans, he was a bit of a complicated, a bit of a problematic human being. There's nothing more difficult than loving someone who's extremely lovable and extremely unlovable. Someone who's horrible and someone who's wonderful simultaneously. It's a very difficult thing to come to terms with, to understand, and it's complicated. When I think about him passing over, I feel joy, I feel relief, and I can tell you that what I feel, what I know, what I see with my other vision is that when he passed, his larger spirit, his larger being came to meet him so quickly and said, "Come here." And he was embraced in such a big hug, and inside of that hug, he was consumed by spirit. So he was taken home all the way. He was taken back into this largest part of himself. I would call this the united self, the collective soul or collective spirit. I wouldn't call it the all that is. I wouldn't call it source of all things. I feel like it's a little more specific than that. It's more general than just his specific personality, but it's more specific than zooming all the way out to source or all that is, all that encompasses everything. I think he went into a larger being, a larger spirit being. And I think his eyes, in a way, and his personality, his soul was swallowed up into this larger spirit being. I also believe, I see with my other vision that all of his memories, all of his karma, all of his junk, it kind of just went into the landfill of memory. And you can pick anything up in the landfill of memory, right? Like everything is just there. It just exists. If you go pick it up, it's there. If you don't pick it up, it's still there. And eventually those things become transmuted. They have the ability to be transmuted and have the ability to be changed. I knew right away that I would never call upon him. I would never call upon him. I would never say, "Hey, come here," as this person that was called my father, and communicate with me. No, never. If I ever felt like I wanted to commune with him, I would always say, I want to commune with his larger spirit, his most whole, his most holy, his most light. And in that way, I'm communicating with that beautiful collective spirit of light that he rejoined. Because it's a transgression, I believe, in my stream, in my path, to ever call someone back to their memories, to their karma, to their very specific life. It's up to not me how much they want to remember their life and what they want to take, what they want to bring back whenever they choose to rejoin, however they choose to rejoin. It's never up to me. It's never up to us to attach someone's past to them. In the same way, I wouldn't want to go attach someone else's past to me, their past memories, their past doings to my past. So as much as I can, I let go. As much as I can, I say, what do I need to move forward? What do I need to let go? How much of this stuff that's at the landfill do I need to pick out? And how much can I just leave? So I want to say a message to those who find evidence of their loved ones here on earth, meaning they see little signs, they see, coin somewhere, or they see some very special bird. I used to have butterflies that would come into my car and then fly back out of my car. When you're seeing those kinds of things, when you're feeling at peace because of a situation or a funny little thing that happened and it made you think of that loved one, that's so beautiful because you know that your loved one is at peace. So they've gone through these passageways, they've gone through these gateways, and they found peace. And because they found peace, because they've kind of made it, you could say, they've been through these passageways, they're able to then, from a place of peace, give you little signals. Everything's okay. All is well here. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about anything, really. And a little token of love. And that's how you know for sure that that soul is at peace. Now, if you're not getting those tokens and those symbols and those happenings from someone, so many other wonderful things can also be happening, because if someone hasn't found that peace that's all the way at the end of these gateways, it's no big deal. It's not like they're not at peace, okay? They're just continuing on their path, and they're guided the whole way. They're guided in love. They're guided in light. They're totally fine. They're just continuing to walk a path completely surrounded by love. Also very beautiful. They're just not in a place where it's a good idea to distract them. That's all. They just need to stay focused. And so also all good. Another reason you might not be getting those little tokens is that your loved one might have already come back through. You know what I mean? They might have let go of their previous life. They might have gone through all of those gateways. They might have found peace and then even chosen to come back through again in whatever variation their soul chooses. And so in a way, not only have they found peace, but they found so much peace that they became re-enlivened and re-excited about the world again and decided to come back and have another go. It's for sure that if there was love between you and them, that they're going to come say, hey, they're going to come say what's up at some point or another, even if it's in passing. You know what I mean? They could go to the same supermarket that you do, and you might pass them in one of the aisles and you just feel this funny little connection. Hey, you could maybe see it in their eyes. And that's just a little hello. All is well. So it's worth reflecting. If you feel like you have these spiritual, metaphysical abilities and gifts and skills, it's worth just feeling out what feels right to me and what doesn't. And you're the one that gets to decide what feels right and what doesn't. It's all about feeling. It's directed through you and through your feeling. And so if something feels good, then it's a yes. If something feels like a no, or you're pulling away, that's not for you. Through that feeling things out, never pushing yourself, never forcing yourself. That's not how that works. It's always through flow. It's always through what feels good. It's always through what feels light. As you guide yourself softly, probably over many years, you'll know, like, what's your specific thing? What's your gift? Who do you kind of run with? For me, I don't know what to call it, my stream, my others, the place where I come, or at least these gifts come from, I know that it's focused more in the place of birth and soul path. I can usually tell when people are pregnant. I can more communicate with like an unborn baby. I can feel the importance of a soul's path after they pass, that it's very important that they stay focused and they move. They have to move. They have to keep moving. It's important for them to find peace, and it's important for them to let go of this identity and this space and these memories. That's kind of like where I come from, is that knowing, is the souls that are coming in and their beautiful excitement to be in this space, and then the soul path after it's released and its focus on finding peace. In this way, people who have passed give us a gift right away. And the gift says, don't tie me to your memories of me. Don't tie me to my identity, because I'm so much more. And it makes us remember that all of our paths are so much more than just this one lifetime. But this one lifetime is so important because it connects to our soul path, connects to what happens next, connects to all of these dimensions that we don't even know anything about. This lifetime is so important and so relevant and so beautiful. Just as much, the larger self, the larger soul identity is also so important. So as much as this is important, our soul and our spirit identity is also important. So it's kind of like, yes, identify. Yes, have a now experience that's specific to you and your beautiful personality. And at the same time, remember, there's a larger personality that's also having an experience. And you'll be taking your soul with you. You're going to be rejoining the part of you that's not necessarily the personality part, the identifying with all of these things and identifying with the past and all of these memories. You're taking the part of you that's your soul. And that soul is rejoining an even larger soul and an even larger spirit. And down the line, you remember the best parts of being here, the most satisfying, the most soul fulfilling parts, not necessarily in specifics, just in how they felt to you, right? Like energetically, like those nice little of beautiful feeling. So we're always dancing, yes, in the identity, in the specifics, in the really caring about small things here, and then also in the relaxing and breathing and letting go and knowing that there's also so much more to who we are and who our identity is. It can feel really, really small and very, very detailed. It can also be very expansive and large and non-specific. And we are the whole range, yeah. I also wanted to make this video to tell you that you don't have to be anything that you don't feel that you are because people want what they want and they're going to look to wherever they think that they can receive that thing from. If that's not you, say, oh, that's not me, but let me tell you what I can offer you. It's okay to be you, to offer what you offer. And it doesn't have to look like anybody else and it doesn't have to have a name yet. You just do you. And don't worry, just keep doing it and the words will come. The labels will come. The way to define it will come. Don't worry about that. Sometimes I have to go under a broader term and that's okay. And I try to be more specific in the details. But as you describe yourself and you describe yourself to others and you put out there what is your offering, use your own wording. Even say, I don't know yet what it's called, but this is how it feels, yes? And if you offer something to other people, ask them, what do you feel? What do I make you feel? Or what does my service or my physical goods that I offer you, what does it make you feel like? And then you can use those words to describe what you're doing. The quickest way to know what you aren't and who you are is to say yes to something even though you're uncertain about it. Because when you do it, it's either going to feel like a heck yes or a heck no. And if it's something in this metaphysical realm, you'll feel it. Right? You'll feel it throughout your whole body. Was this a yes from me or a no from me? And there will be no question. So that's what I wanted to share about my experience with mediumship and what I see when I look into the hereafter. It's so connected to our lives now. And it's so connected to what I do because I travel in the spirit realm. I travel in the non-physical just as much as I'm here in the physical. And we all are. Sometimes we're just more aware of it than other times. That conversation of what happens next, what happens after is always right there. We're kind of living both at the same time. Let me know if you have any questions, if you think of any fun, cool questions, either about this specifically or in general, just having these gifts or abilities or skills. I'd love to answer them and I'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon.